Danielle here. I have been a little bit delayed in getting this video up because this morning I went to my kids' fun run, and I guess I'm pretty pleased that Sensei has sort of allowed me to be able to do that. So I'm really sorry about the delay, but the smile on my little boy's face when I turned up was priceless. So mind me as I'm looking at my notes. This week we're going to focus on rewards and recognition alongside chapter 7 of our book. And basically we want things that are fun and cheap, and if we put in the effort now, it's the only time that we're going to get fun, cheap and fast. But remember, recognition doesn't have to be a physical thing. So let's get started with chapter 7, which is about the power close. Alright, so what's holding you back from closing leads, orders and party bookings? Sometimes we need to look into what has been said and explain without arguing. We do not want our potentials to get defensive. The best way is to follow Sarah's rule of a feel, found, felt method. Now I use this quite often. And basically, I understand how you feel. I felt the same way when I got started, but here's what I found out. Now, my most common way of doing it is, like a lot of people out there, financially we struggle month to month, and putting aside that $153 to join was quite a big deal for us. And it actually put me off for quite some time. However, when I'm talking to potentials and they mention that there's a money issue, I tell them what I did. I understand how you felt. I felt the same way when I was thinking about getting started. What I ended up doing was took a couple of things down to cash converters, cashed them in, got the money, and then signed up. And guess what? Now, if I want more money next month, I put the effort in this month, and away we go. So you need to make sure that you're completely honest with your response. You've got to keep it simple and quick so it's not overwhelming either. And if they want to know more, they will ask. I have been asked, oh, what did cash converters give you for your phone? Now, obviously, the response to that on there is I don't personally know the answer to what they'll get for their phone, so take it in. There's no harm in asking, and sort of take it from there. So there are some amazing examples within the chapter, and I encourage you to read these a few times. Okay, not just once. I've read them 3 times now, and I think it's really, really good to go refer back to when you're hitting a sort of a roadblock. One thing that sort of stuck out to me last night when I was reading the chapter again was how amazing Sensei is in regards to our incentives. I was talking to a girl from another company, and this was when I was so close to earning the cruise in Mexico, and she was really close to earning her cruise to Mexico. And this is what I found out. Her company, now I'm not going to name names because that's not important, they run their incentives completely different to ours. You have to first meet the criteria for the incentive, and then you'll put it on a list. Okay, so say 750 people have met this criteria, okay, but they only have 500 spots available on the cruise. So it's often to the first 500 people on that list. Now, where have you ranked? So if you had more PRV than somebody else who owned it, you'd be above them. Now that spot on the cruise is offered to the first 500, and one of them has to turn it down for number 501 for it to be offered to them. Now, if you don't take the trip, or you don't get offered the trip, you get nothing. Let that sink in for a second. We got the offer of the trip. There was lots of spaces. And if we decided we didn't want to go on it, it wasn't going to benefit somebody else, but we got product credit instead. So things like that can make us stand apart. Now, I wouldn't go into all that detail with somebody if they sort of wanted to know what our compensation plan is and all that sort of stuff. But if somebody came to me and wanted to know more about the incentives, that might be something that I'd mention in slightly fewer details. The other thing is the points raised in this chapter are also great post topics and ways to focus your ads on that you put on the buy, sell, swap pages, so those excuses are busted before they arise. Have a read through them. Focus your next ad on it. Where it talks about, let me just bring up my little screen here. Sorry, I wasn't completely prepared for that bit. That sidetrack. I need to try the products first. We've all seen the ads about a sample club or a borrowed bag and those sort of things. So focus your ads on the excuses that you seem to come across more often than not. This chapter also refers back to the amazing videos Alexandra shared last week as a mini challenge about excuse busting. So make sure that you do go back and watch those posts. See those posts and watch the video. Watch each one of them. There's only 4 of them. They don't take very long. And sometimes having that information said verbally to you rather than reading from a book can sort of click in a little bit differently. So I encourage you to do that. So let's start this week with a few different posts I'm going to put on the page. We've got these little pictures I'm going to pop up. And I encourage you to take part and answer the questions. But remember, the more that we share, the more that we will all learn and we'll all grow. If you come across one type of person, they might accept an answer in a completely different way from the other person that came up to you with the same excuse. So what excuses have you come across in party booking? What excuses have you come across in closing a sale? And what excuses have you come across when signing up a potential recruitment? What excuse have you come across in sponsoring somebody? I read a post the other day about, that we're sponsoring, we're not recruiting. So that's where that error came up. Alright, so if there's an excuse that you've found a way to deal with, make sure that you reply to that comment that somebody's put up so that we can all learn. No one answer is going to be correct because it depends on the person you're talking to and their real concern. If I told the cash converters story to somebody that hasn't got any money problems but still worried about spending that money, it could turn them off. Another thing for the money in joining, have you seen the post, I've got a copy of it somewhere but I think it's got my watermark, so I'll put it up anyway, about the starter pack versus 2 warmers and 6 bars and them costing the same. Alright, so once you have these amazing potentials as a customer, a consultant, or a party booking, it's important that you recognize them. Remember that there are hundreds of consultants out there and they have chosen you. They've picked you from that field of a bunch of flowers. They've chosen you. So ways to recognize them. A customer, you're going to offer them amazing customer service. Hosts, you're going to coach them, follow through on promises, turn up on time, communicate, and again, amazing customer service. And consultants, all of the above, but remember you can't do everything for them. They need to learn and create their own business, and you will need to work on yours, which is where rewards and recognition come in. Because this week's homework, we need to create a recognition plan. Everyone from lead up should be doing rewards and recognition. Rewards can be just a handwritten card, a postcard. It can be a post on Facebook, sharing your excitement about their achievement, or a little gift in the mail. Some words of wisdom from Heidi is that you should not spend more than 3% of your total wages on rewards and recognition. So another post that we can all comment on this week will be creative gifts that won't break the bank. That gets us on to this week's homework. Now it's really important that you all take part. I want you to make a reward and recognition postcard on Vistaprint. It can be a welcome to the team. It can be one about being your top 5 sales or within your team. It can be about getting a new team member, just anything. Create a postcard on Vistaprint and share it in the team. Better yet, order some in and see how you go. I also want you to make 2 pictures to put on Facebook and share to our page. One, welcome to the team image, and another one for well done. Now, if you've got something that you want to do it for rather than just a generalized well done, do that one, but yeah, make sure you share them on the page. We're going to research and share fun and cheap recognition gifts. Remember, they should only be 3% of your earnings. And this week, I also want you to take the time to recognize 2 of your team members on Facebook and share a screenshot in the group. Of course, your team would be the first choice, but if you don't have 2 team members, any Sensei consultant is a team member. We're all in this together. We don't always learn from those we learn from those we're surrounded with. They don't always have to be connected in our tree. So please, I encourage you all to take the time, interact in the group, get the homework done, catch up on anything that you're missing out on. And I will be around a bit more this week in the group